Hey guys, I'm going to start in a few minutes. All right, let's get into it. So continue from where we left off. Big changes I made was actually looked at the bird over and over again. There's something about it being not epic enough or something. I can't explain it exactly. But yeah, I did some changes. We're gonna go ahead and went ahead and did some alterations, and I decided to change it into somewhat like a snake-like dragon thing. Here is the design. So this one looks more grander, and so I think I will go with this one. The only thing I won't change is the armor. We're gonna maybe stay with this one. We're gonna take maybe some different looks at how we can change the armor itself. We'll go through some other steps. We'll make a new file actually. Dragon armor character. Design. So I know it's in the mock-up phase. Now, typically I don't like to work in the white. Hello, Dork. Welcome to the channel. Hope the music not too loud. I'll lower it just a bit. We'll go to a different music actually. Battle music. So one method to designing characters is you can either use lines. I'll show you some samples of the ways I've been taught to design. So you go really fast. You're just knocking out designs. Kind of trying to find like shapes that works. Say he has something up here. Maybe give him a horn, or maybe 2 horns. So at this stage you're pretty loose, you don't know what's going on just yet. I'll show you in a minute. We'll do a couple. Now since he's like that, I may do something entirely different to execute this. There's some ads happening. Maybe you have an armor drip down here. Maybe he has a sleeve like we had in the first one. 2 sleeves, maybe. Let's do some checking here. Maybe he has big boots, I don't know. Some kind of diamond shaped. Maybe he has spike coming out on both ends. Maybe a tiny cape here or something. I'll have to make that pop out so I know that's something behind. Shoulder piece, maybe a bit bulky. So now when you look at far away, you can see the silhouettes. It's very different from each other, and that's what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to achieve different silhouettes when it comes to quick design sketch. You don't want to go in too tight. So what you're trying to imitating is using this method, and the other method, which I'm going to show you right now, is actually one of my favorite method. Is actually just blocking using a solid color. It's kind of like the same method here, but what you're trying to imitate is those block inks where those psychiatrists always whip out and say, "What do you see?" And you generally people kind of form an image in their head what that block of image is. So I'm gonna go wild with this one. Maybe it's straight and has a T something. Now, yeah, you try to achieve the same thing, but blocking instead. And so that has a different outcome. But essentially, they kind of work the same in a way. Maybe you don't see the head. And in the design process, sometimes you'll lose some of the initial mock-ups, which you'll redefine. and that's okay. So you have something like this, you have something like that, and then you'll maybe make something more petite. Maybe the hair comes out instead. Now the other design I had was little feather horns coming out here, right? So we already have that design. We can essentially grab it and put it in here, but we'll do something different with it. Instead, we'll actually give them antlers. And then we'll maybe give them half of cape that goes around somewhat. And then maybe armor piece on the side. Maybe he's holding a dagger this time. Or an axe. Whatever it falls under. But generally we're trying to achieve a very different silhouette from amongst each other. And then within we can, like, that's what the block ink method is. Like, we're trying to see the silhouette and form kind of a design out of it. And generally it works pretty good for me anyways. Yeah, especially when like on a blank canvas, a lot of artists like struggle to get going, and this method is quite useful because you're just blocking in whatever. If you see something, great. If you don't, you can nuke it. It's no problem because it just goes by really fast. So here you see all the different shapes. This one's quite small. It's not as prominent. Here you get bigger, and then there you get a little bit more jagged edges. Here you can probably add something if you like horns or something like that. Maybe he'll have something like that. And absolutely, I would suggest always messing around with the head. It don't normally have to be round all the time. Some more interesting designs came out of just square heads. So we're back to the line drawing thing. I don't know if I'm shaking the camera much. So yeah, those are the execution to design characters. There are other ways where So when you get into it, actually, we'll take this one for example. We'll get this one, and then you can block out details as well. So let's say it's actually not that thick over here. So here you're just gonna redefine what you see, and then make it kind of like a more refined reality. Maybe it's kind of like a cape wing thing. And then this is its cape thingy. And then we can redefine this thing. So you can grab light colors, and this is where you actually flush out some designs within the silhouette. Whoops. That's just Photoshop letting me know you can't do that, whatever I pressed. So maybe the helmet is not like a face, instead it's just a solid mask with two circles. Try to get into it. So grabbing the darker colors now. Maybe it has two spikes coming out instead. Round that off. Maybe it's not just a T, but instead it's like a horn thing coming out. Yeah, something like that. So pretty much this is not final. A lot of times when you have something you kind of like but it's not exactly, you pretty much take from each design. Sometimes you grab a little thing, something there, something here. Let's say you like this guy's horn, you put it on here instead. That absolutely happens in the design process. Oh, it's too light or something. There you go. Maybe the shoulder thing is actually a big giant pad here. And then he also has a giant neck issue. Going something like that. Then maybe redefine this part so it separates out a little bit more. So definitely here you don't want to be stickler for anything. You're just really experimenting with the shapes. You can get nitpicky when I think when you get to the next stage, which is actually really fleshing it out. But right now we are just simply experimenting with this character. I think I should turn this thing on too. Okay, let's look at this part here. All right, let's get back to it. Yeah, so it's coming along, and I think there was something playing in the background. I just gotta stop it for now. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you can get really into detail when you get into these kind of phases, but try to not lose sidetrack. I'm just going to show you just when you get in really close, you start to flesh out things like the mask. Let's see here. It seems like it's very light, the brush. What brush do I have? Let's grab that and let's solidify that. Okay, so we can grab a third highlight. That seems very low still. Let's grab it a bit higher. I'm gonna try to make it pop more. Here you can kind of get lost in just the detailing, and you absolutely will if you let yourself. But point of doing the design is doing quick and getting lots of volume of designs out before you go in details like these. This can actually eat up a lot of your time if you're not careful. Maybe there's some design elements here. I'll try to implement that. See how it gets really detailed out afterwards? It's like it can get really insanely detailed. The only thing is it's really done like pixelated, so you'll have to scale it up and detail it even more when it gets to that point, should you pick this design, right? The great thing about this method is like it really gets rid of that anxiety of having just a blank canvas and having nothing to work with. That absolutely can work for a lot of different things, like even for landscapes, for instance. You can just block out shapes to lay them off because you don't know what you're doing. You have no idea. And sometimes with this method, it's you can get there with a bit of just experimentation and not taking anything seriously. I find that a lot of times when it's blank canvas, you tend to have there's a lot more pressure to get going, right? There's no ideas. And that's why art boards are quite great at that too. If you gather a bunch of art materials, things that grab your eye, when you see something, absolutely do an art board. That helps as well. Especially when you have some kind of, I guess, guideline of what something should be. Take the competition for a good example. They have guidelines that you're supposed to do, and great thing, I guess it kind of grounds you because it has guidelines, so you're gonna have to control your designs as you go. You can absolutely still work in this method. You just have to add whatever guidelines they implemented on the contest. That's also the hard part. Like sometimes when the guideline happens, as you're designing, you're like, how do you fit the guideline? Take Final Fantasy's competition for instance. I think you're supposed to, when you create a character, they want you to use some of their garments, like 3 of their garments. I think it's an armor piece or some kind of add-on piece, like maybe it's a gauntlet or something. I'm not too sure just yet. I'm assuming it'll be easy just to add on later on. I should probably read that in more detail. So yeah, like I said, this process can take up your time if you're not careful. I suggest like knocking out like 20 different silhouettes before you go into detail like this. But you can absolutely flesh out a character just by using this method. Oh, wow, it's been half an hour already. I'm not sure if I'm gonna spend too much time on this guy. That. I think this would cover the arms, the sleeves. So the soundtrack is actually from Attack of the Titans, if anyone's wondering what that is, that music. So it's an animation or a manga. Definitely check that out. It's pretty popular. It's from the makers of what's it? Death Note. So if you like Death Note, definitely check it out because it's from the same author. I think all teams are there. Don't want to talk about too much about that. It might spoil something. But definitely a good animation to check out. I think mostly he does like very dark stories, which works well for him because I think he's really good at it. So yeah, you can see how it's kind of flushing out already. Just with this silhouette method, you can see it's half done from the top up. Definitely can flush it out more. And then you got this guy. I don't know, that's like very simple, but I think when you get into it, you can probably do something with it. But yeah, those are the methods for designing characters. There's definitely more ways into doing that. I think there was like photo bashing as well. You can take multiple of photos and just bash it into something. But that seems a little bit longer just because you have to collect the photos itself. So that's not, I think, time efficient. But yeah, those are the two ways I like to design my things. I definitely think it takes a lot of energy though. So the first 2 hours is going to be very stressful. You have to really focus because you're exploring with different shapes, ideas, and opening up your eyes and your just opening your perspective of what a character can be. Say this guy as I don't know, I have no idea where I'm going with this. It's like a square head. It's like an alien head, if you will. Maybe it's like 4 spots here. Maybe it's not like that. It's down here. It's always easy to add spikes to make something look more interesting, but sometimes I think you should try to refrain from that just because it's too easy of a solution. I think it's just a matter of simply exploring the shapes. Okay. When you look at works like from Dark Souls and those guys, their characters are like very out there. It's intriguing. That's what that is, because you don't see those kind of designs. The design language is like very diverse and very bizarre. Looks like a Radiohead or something. I would say it's still easy. Worth exploring, even though you think most likely it's not going to work out. Yeah, it's not working out. It's just, I don't think it's working out because it's not, I guess it doesn't fit the genre. I think I can see this kind of character would probably be in like Bioshock or something. There are certain elements when it comes to designs, like some things can fit in certain genres and some can't. Yeah, I'm getting to like this guy. This guy can be something. That guy can be something. Yeah, the only odd guy out is probably this guy here. Okay, so now that kind of warmed up and explained the character design. Now back to this guy, or girl. Actually, I'm going to place it as girl. So we have her on a separate layer. So what we can do is copy her. We're going to bring it over here. It's not copying. Okay, we can go drag her onto there. So the pick tool, drag her on. Minimize this. Okay, she's not black and white, so I will change her. So you can go to channel and then oh, that changes everything. That's fine. We can do it the other way. If you think about Photoshop, you can do things more different ways. There's not just one way of doing things. Okay, so we have here, yeah, little globs of everywhere. So what we can do is duplicate her as well. So we'll turn this one off, or actually we'll lock it. Actually, we'll fix the thing around her first. Let's delete this one. So get rid of this thing first. So I do have an idea for a scene with this character and the dragon thingy. Gonna post it on Instagram if I finish by today. If not, then I was gonna cast it as well, but I think we are doing character design, so we're gonna explore the realm of the process of how I do character design. I think that would have been more helpful than just watching me paint a scenery that's already kind of in my head. I have it fleshed out kind of what I want to portray. So I thought that would be less helpful when it comes to learning new techniques. So I'm just gonna put that over here. Okay, now you can duplicate it. So this one I will lock, so we have the original, so we don't have to touch it ever. And then we'll have this one to explore with. So I'm gonna change it up. Ooh, I don't like this soundtrack. We're gonna go with some relaxing Final Fantasy. Or how about this? I typically don't like, sometimes I do, but typically I don't go for music that has lyrics, just because I find that distracting. I mean, if it's like opera lyrics, which you can't even understand, for me anyways, I'm fine with that. There are some opera music that are kind of good. They kind of mixed it with the current genres and kind of feels fresh and new. So what we're gonna do is actually we're gonna maybe hollow this out. And maybe actually have like an armor legging. Then have it come out. So the things that I've noticed about girl armor pieces and guy armor pieces, guys can be either or when it comes to the fitting. It's all entertainment, so girl armors has to be very form-fitting, so you can see her form. Not all the time, but most of the time, especially on the chest area where they want to accentuate that. And there's the appeal of that, of course. It's mostly like chest area, you should try to accentuate that as much as possible. No armor or less armor around those areas, and the hip area. especially the buttocks. And that's fine, I guess. We'll change it up from the original. We'll try to make it very different looking. I do like this skirt part. May change that. We don't know. Yeah, let's change it for the sake of being different. And actually, the one that I have, the bigger one, in the other piece. Where is it? Get it back in this template. So this piece, this arm piece, is actually different from this piece. I actually imagine a longer sleeve. So we'll go ahead and add it to this one instead. I'll grab it from here. So we're just saying this is a sleeve that's not actually somewhat of like a drapery around the left left arm. It's not actually a sleeve. Something like that. Let's say this is her skin, maybe. Actually not, because it's supposed to be an armor piece with clothes underneath. And then here we're gonna change this up because she don't have the skirt thing anymore. Ooh, I got something. And then we're gonna, I guess we can keep that as is. And then on that drawing, there was something like this. Maybe have a strap coming down to maybe forming a V. And then you kind of want to accentuate the female figure. So what we can do is typically we can try to show her curves by lines. Well, making the form as well, but accentuate it even more so with lines. Something that works really well is what Lululemon did with their leggings. They use actually line to accentuate the buttocks and the thigh area. I've noticed that they use that kind of within their designs when it comes to their leggings. Okay, let's try to get into more detail. So what we can do is, well, not split it, more so maybe grab like that. Don't like that. Maybe just separate it from here. No attachment lines. So the lines essentially want to work towards kind of pointing to the chest area. Maybe close it up a little bit more here. And then we may have some design lines going this way. May need a third highlight to differentiate some elements like that. Kind of flesh your face out a little bit more. It's okay, we'll fix the face later. Or now. So in these design phases, I don't recommend going beyond the third, is it the third highlight? So just kind of stick within like 3 color. Of course, your opacity will kind of make that kind of alteration, but try to not make it too complicated. Just have like about 3 kind of shades that you're working with in the grayscale, so it doesn't get complicated, and what you're focusing on more or less is the design itself. I'm not sure I'm going to give it eyes, so we get rid of that. The helmet, do it stay the same? We'll actually maybe explore the shape of the helmet itself. Let's grab this dark element here. I definitely want to show the eyes, so we're not going to cover her eyes. Maybe there's a horn that goes out here. This one goes in the middle. And then maybe an indent over here. Yeah, kind of like that. So I already like the overall shape, and now we're just expanding the exploration within the character itself, because I kind of like the idea already. It's just it needed to be explored with more, and just fleshed out the idea, and the helmet wasn't fully explored yet. So that looks great already. Maybe have this strap goes over here. Not sure this should be circled just yet, but we have that in our original design. We'll leave it as is for now. Okay, I definitely want, because it is a girl character, and what works typically well on girl designs is having her head kind of bigger than her body. Reason being is because you want the body to look more small and petite. So when you have her head looking kind of bigger than her body, it will kind of like, there's a certain illusion that it's doing. Oh, my opacity is low. It portrays the illusion that the girl is more petite. I'm not sure about the arm design just yet. We'll come back to that later, maybe, if we have time. I say that, but I'm like, let's flesh it out now. Why is it turning green? Yes. Eraser is 100%. Oh, why am I on the bottom layer? Okay, so the last little bit we went in here. So I don't want to touch the bottom layer. What we can do is duplicate this layer. We're gonna dump this one. We'll lock it. This one was a mistake. Bring it back. So everything that's locked, it'll warn me and it won't touch anything. Especially when you have so much layers, it's kind of useful in that regards. Yeah, so we're gonna move on from the arms. We gotta flesh out the leg areas. So she's showing her thighs, but yeah, it's looking good. It is looking good. think I'm liking the design. We're gonna have to get her arms apart so I can see what's happening. Too much work today? That's fine. I'm glad you can make it though. Yeah, so we want an armored piece maybe for her thigh area. So maybe get it. I almost want like a half skirt. A half skirt. And maybe have this go through actually. Kind of accentuate her body over there. Her thigh's a little bit too short there. So grab this armor piece. Maybe try to match it, maybe not. I like asymmetrical designs when it comes to characters or anything else. It doesn't always work, but I find asymmetrical designs are more interesting than symmetrical. Because it's hard to pull off. I think that's that's what I've learned. It's harder to pull off, which I think risk and reward, right? I think a lot of helmets, they kind of tend to do this. It shows the eyes to cover them, some of the face. I think that kind of design really works. Notice how like a lot of the film industries, when they focus on a character, a lot of them can't wear a mask. The reason being is you want to be able to see the main character. Yeah, you gotta see that beautiful face, especially the eyes. I think, if anything, if a main character does wear a mask, they tend to try to show the eyes. They want to see the emotion when it comes to the entertainment business. So we're going to change this up just because we have it on the other design. So what we can do is pull from each other, whatever sticks well, I guess. So we already have on the other design for this ring part. So this, we're going to keep it. I'm definitely going to go with this thing that will show up for the final design. This kind of like Wukong thing here, headpiece. Would it say it's pulling? It looks like it's coming out of here, but it wasn't supposed to naturally. But we'll get it. It's kind of not matching. We're gonna have to reorganize that. This goes on top, this goes on bottom. Great, and we're gonna refine this part. So we had an indent here. I want to play with that. Maybe it goes wrap around. Look at jagged. Something like that. And for girls, yeah, you tend to stay away from just round. Sometimes it's actually better to kind of have something that accentuates or emulates a hair kind of thing. Again, we're gonna go for like big head and petite body, so that accentuates it more. This looked like a pixelated drawing, but when we put this in a scenery, everything will make sense already. Like this is just helping the design process to move along faster. I read somewhere that when it comes to design, for most people, for most artists anyways, they like to get their design out first. They say it's the more intense part about the design. They tend to do it first because after all the hard part's done, they just relax and start painting without thinking because the design is already fleshed out. That's absolutely true. I've tried it many of times. After the design phase, which is like about an hour or 2 hours, some people can go 3. Insane. It's very intense concentration because you're really exploring and trying to redefine. After, it's actually very, very relaxing just to draw. It's pretty much at that point after the design. It's after this point of design that things are more fun. So I'm not sure if this whole drapery will cover this midsection. That kind of looks cool when it covers it. I know everyone wants to see her bits, but in a way, it's like sometimes even if you look at lingeries are something to tease, right? Right, so we're gonna go with that kind of study where it's there, but it's only covered by a small drapery. So it's got that kind of tease factor, which I find that a lot of armors are going to that route where it's just, it doesn't actually show, it just teases. A lot of people like those kind of armors. Because if you look at like purchases and skins, those kind of things, a lot of people go for kind of like a sexualized armor. They never go for like the more conservative ones. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. So that we already have the knee part on the other design. Kind of similar. We're gonna switch up this design. And then we'll actually make her feet a little more pointy or something like that. Maybe I'll go for like a high heel kind of look. I'll go to the side view first. Hey Gaming 23, welcome to the chat, to the channel. So today we're just trying to flesh out the character that I was working on previously. And we're taking it slow and seeing other options. Seeing if we can make it even more different. So let's take a step back and see what kind of changes we made. Oh, I did flesh out more, right? This one's somewhat blurry still. We did flesh out more of it, the design, and it's looking kind of good. I like this part, the waist part. I may bring this element back over here, but we'll see. We'll try to flesh out even more. I may have to move her hands out of the way. How are things, Gaming 23? Is it morning over there? So we can decapitate her. We're gonna just rotate her arms out of the way so we can draw her waist part. Did you stream today? Did Edwin stream today? Ooh, I do find that her legs is actually quite short. So a little hack we can do is transform, and then we'll just pull on it. Bring it back up. So that looks a little better. We'll take a look from before and after. Wait, it's this one. Okay, that's a bit better. I thought she was like a little stubby looking. So yeah, we're gonna try to flesh out her leg part. We want something bulky and kind of look like a high heel kind of look. Gotta flesh out this part. It's looking good. Oh yeah, so about the knee part, we're gonna change that up. So like I said, girl armor, they normally like to stick with the form-fitting armor sets. That's the most attractive for a girl. Not so much protection. Not so much protection. Then again, they like to sell girls as the fast type and not the tanky type. Which then makes sense because it's like light armor. Whoops. Okay, so we'll try to flesh out the look of the armor. Typically you go downwards for the lines. We're gonna try a wraparound maybe. Wait, let's try flesh out her skirt area. Because I'm curious in how that would look still. Maybe the skirt area is like a wing looking one. Something like a dressy look. Why is this soundtrack odd? Sure, let's stick with that one. So yeah, we're gonna make it like a half dress that covers only the backside. It's always either one or the other when it comes to the dress. It's always you cover the back or the front. But the front always has to be somewhat revealing. Maybe her belt goes around this area as well. It just goes down, kind of breaks the traditional look of how things work. Oh yeah, did you guys... Is it because of the relaxing tranquility voice? Angelic voice? I sound like Bob Ross. It's a compliment. I make you relax. Oh, this is Elden or Skyrim music. Okay, let's change that. Next track. Now, we might change this one and maybe match it, or maybe have a pointy on the other end. So what we can do is have something bulked up and then go the other direction. Maybe have an undergarment that kind of follows it. Yeah, that looks cool. So as long as you don't cover too much, like there's some bulky parts you can definitely put on girl armor. But for the main part, many of my lunch hours as a kid was spent watching Bob paint. Me too. I think it's like every Every time I come home for lunch, I just heat up my food in the microwave and then eat and watch Bob Ross draw. Or paint, rather. Lots to learn from him. He makes things look really easy, which they're not. They're not that easy. He makes it easy. Because I've tried live painting before. It's quite hard to control the paints. Just cover this part. So in the stream, I do at least one request a day. If you guys have any requests for any fan art or emotes, that kind of thing, I can spend about 15 minutes on each. I can't take too long. We need to get back to the main. But it's a nice breather artist likes to take once in a while when they're painting too heavily on one subject. So if you guys have any requests, I can do that. If not, then we'll keep painting. This is looking really good. I think I'm digging this design. We still have to flesh out the legging. This part's kind of accentuated a lot. I'm not sure if I want to make it pointy or something like that. Maybe have something on the back end. And maybe make the kneecap bulk up. Gotta protect those knees. There's actually a Bob Ross channel in here. I'm not subscribed, followed. And yeah, he's doing great. It's just reruns of him painting. So if you guys have time to check it out, it's nostalgic. It's got a huge following though, too. So like I said, in these processes, sometimes you can take a long time just flushing it out. If you're in initial stage, which I am not anymore, I'm trying to flesh out this one suit. But yeah, if you're trying to flesh out or trying to get some sort of final results, I suggest doing about maybe 20, fleshing out 20 designs, or just 20 ink blocks of the character before you go and do in-depth detailed design like this. Right now I'm just trying to flesh out the because I like design already, I'm going to move forward and try to flesh out some tiny minor, well, sometimes they're substantial, but we're working off the design that we like the most. I'm trying to take the darkest parts. Okay, I think I'm going to stream for another 30 minutes. And then I might start the offline. I might just start the storyboard art, which I'm gonna post on Instagram. So you can catch my Instagram. I think I linked it on Twitch already, but if I haven't, it's actually under line art. I mean, not line art. Imagine Lion, TR. There may be an underscore under the line, separating Imagine and Lion, like this channel. But yeah, just look for the logo. Should be able to find it. So we'll have that. I think so I need something darker. All right, that looks really good now. It's always good to step back and look at it from afar. Yeah, it looks good. I need to work probably on the hip area and also the arm area. It's lacking a little bit. I do like this one now. Although I do like this part, the ring part. I may put that in the helmet somewhere. Or maybe on the back end. Yeah, the back end might work. Actually, if it pops out here. I almost think maybe I'm putting too much elements onto it. It can suffer as well. We'll definitely give it another layer so we can pop it. We can nuke it if we don't like it. So just draw it here. Give it some highlights. And then it might be a little bit too much elements on the helmet. Oh, I think that's drawn wrong on this part. We're gonna fix that now. This one was over here as well. Let's go back. Okay, so we have to get it out this way. Just want to be careful here. Although this is actually forward, so it doesn't matter. The layer is forward on the foreground. So we'll have that. Okay, and I'm going to take a step back and look at it. Yeah, I like it. Maybe too much going on though, but I do like it. So we'll keep it for now. There's no harm keeping it. Is on its own layer, so we can pop it in and out. What's that on top? Let's delete this. We can redraw this part. Take out this part. So yeah, we can pop it in and out. We'll leave it on for the time being. We'll lock that layer. Okay, the arms. How to do the arm. I almost want to have this arm just flesh, like not or maybe have this the armor part. Have it the armor part and then this one's flesh, because this one is wielding the whatever weapon I want, and this one is basically going to be acting like a shield, an arm shield. So we'll have to armor this one up. Let's see how. Maybe it's not a bulk armor like this on the arm. Maybe on the gauntlet part, but we'll have the armor kind of like a Batman suit kind of thing, where it's just close to the body. Doesn't protrude it as some kind of metal part. Then we'll kind of do a separation. Okay, and then we'll make the gauntlet part a lot bigger. Kind of have to exaggerate everything. I think I need something upbeat. Skip this track. Okay, gauntlet. Maybe let's bulk up the forearms. Okay, now that we bulked it up, we're gonna have to put some kind of design on it. Maybe have some sharp edges. And then the elbow part may have something as well. Okay, don't like that part. Go like that. Maybe have a weapon of some sort for the elbow. Maybe have a like a scale. She is riding a dragon. Maybe have some kind of imitation of scaling. So yeah, after I'm done this, I'm gonna be painting a scenery with the dragon where she rides it. Yeah, be sure to look out for that. I'm gonna be posting on Instagram. Hopefully I can finish today. I won't be streaming it because I think this one was more learning and beneficial if you guys were to hop on and see the design process. I think learning how I got there was more important than just seeing me paint the scene that I already kind of have in my head. The thought process actually the fleshing out the characters actually would be more interesting. But yeah, you definitely can let me know if that's the case, because people always just arrive to the point where the artist is just so talented and it's like, how do you get there? Or it's just in his head. No, it's sometimes not just in our head. We took our time to actually experiment with the type of design before we created that scene. I mean, there are the cases where we just create the scene. But most often time when it comes to like heavy designs like this, we definitely took some time to get into the design experimentation. I mean, when you have so much work experience, for some people, they don't even go through the design. They do, but if they're designing a quick scene, if they're just winging it, they have so much experience in their head of different designs, they can kind of just wing it. They don't like to, but they can. I definitely don't have that yet. I don't have enough work experience for that to happen. I do like going through the process though. Whoops, that's pinging again. Every time when I shrink my brush, I think I press two different buttons and it's pinging me, so it's just like, we can't do that. I think we want to show flesh here. We're gonna paint this a little bit lighter. And maybe just show a bit in the center as well. So we're still experimenting, so we're not completely sure that we want to open this up. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. I'm not sure if I want to put any design on the chest area. This music's getting epic. Definitely when I listen to these kind of music, it kind of like inspired me to go epic. A little bit of Dragon Ball Z here on the back end. Get darker on this side here. All right, about 15 more minutes, we'll wrap things up. This design is looking good. We're going to definitely use this as one of our scenes to draw. I don't know how often I'll be posting on Instagram. If I do finish a painting, I definitely will try to upload it as soon as. Definitely give it a follow there. But here on Twitch, I'll be mostly going through design phases, drawing process. I think that might be more beneficial to people to see. But if you guys want to see the scenery drawing, you may have to see what kind of volume that would get before I post, before I stream such things. Because I feel a lot of people are doing that already, so they don't necessarily go through the design phases. So, well, some do. I mean, they do start to finish, but I'm specifically talking about like fleshing a design before you print, before you start painting the scenery. I mean, I had some like design phases for environments as well, and I didn't flesh it out until the design part was done, and then I took the angle, pumped it up, and then away it go. At that point it was kind of fun already, like the process was already fleshed out, the design was fleshed out, and so there wasn't much thinking involved. I was just painting. Yeah, I like her helmet. It's getting very fantasy look. And then on the arm we'll have maybe just a leather kind of look. Or actually maybe just a glove. Oops. Yeah, so we'll just put a glove on her, see how that looks. Now, I'm not sure what kind of weapon she'd be wielding. I'm thinking a spear or halberd. Actually, halberd might work better. So originally I had like a crossbow. Isn't that hard to isn't that hard to reload when you're riding a dragon? Shoot once and then that's it. How are you gonna ride it? Kind of didn't make sense. Maybe she can reload with one hand, I don't know. I was going with the halberd because if she's riding a dragon, she needs a long-reaching weapon to reach downwards. Great, we're gonna add some highlights. Is that right? I don't know. Here we go. I mean, when you're designing, there's no wrong answers. It's all about experimentation, what's good to you. Unless you have a art director who's like, no, not what we're looking for. Oftentimes I hear, like, in a design studio, you can't be like, your feelings can't be hurt when they don't pick your design. But I think a lot of people who start out absolutely feels that way when their design don't get picked, and oftentimes that does have, it comes with the job, right? Because it's kind of like writers too. When they write, was it copywriters or screenwriters? They have like 10 on staff. Sometimes your ideas, like, they're not gonna take it. That's just the grind. They still pay you nonetheless. You're there to be creative, and there's no right or wrong answers. But the producer wants a special, like their flair. And maybe you have like here have like some kind of design. We don't know. I don't know what design. Something like that. And then we'll do a little bit of highlights. And just like so. 80% is too much. I'll be 30% opacity. Something like that. Whoops. Oh, I just scrolled. Then we'll just say there's some kind of separation. Let's go back to 50% for opacity. Okay, taking a look at the time, we got about 9 minutes, and we'll hop off air and we'll start painting the scenery for Instagram posting. And also we'll go on to my ArtStation and DeviantArt, and they all fall under the same name. Actually, yeah, they all fall in the same name. There might be an underscore on ArtStation. I'm sure I'll pull up any words that's kind of similar. Okay, it's good. So we still haven't fleshed out the other leg. I think we're gonna stay almost exactly the same as that one. We already have some asymmetrical things that's happening with the sleeve. To go back to 80% opacity. I wasn't seeing the outlines. Goes in and then outwards. Now, because of the positioning, now this has to do more with the perspective. So this is more fundamental. Because the leg is kind of twisted directly at us, we're gonna not see as much as the folds here. We'll see the outline maybe. We'll do an outline of it. Maybe pop out just a bit. So because we have a different vantage point, we'll have to see what the front of this part looks like, the knee pad. Grab that, and so I've been watching Arcane League of Legends, and it's quite good. If anyone hasn't watched it yet, I was wondering, there was a lot of drawings on was it Jinx? Her name is, well, her original name is not Jinx. She was named Jinx because you'll find out in the story if you watch it. Yeah, there was a lot of drawings on her. I didn't know why they were drawing her at the first place. I didn't know who that was, but now I do. So everyone essentially is in love with her. So this Arcane League of Legends is not exactly the game premise, I don't think. It's like a totally separate story from the game. But yeah, there's some really good fighting sequence. If anyone's into those. And so this pops out, this lands over there, kind of sinks in. So there's a bit of gap here. So there you go. That's it. And I think it bulks up a little more here. And then, I haven't defined this part just yet. It goes in here. Okay, and then just give that a little rim texture. Okay, take a step back. Her leg kind of looks wonky a little bit. We'll fix that now. We'll cut that out and then rotate it. Move it here. Then we'll pop this out like we have it on that other leg. And we'll try to match this part here. And then this goes like that as well. Okay, so the rotation is a little bit different, so we're gonna have to step back and reevaluate that. So it actually goes in here, and we're gonna have to show it popping down here. So the midsection is right around here. Gonna pop it here, and then this rounds up there. So essentially the design's somewhat finished. The only thing we're messing around with is the perspective and getting it right. It's not necessary unless you're handing it to your boss, your art directors, or client. You have to show your design. If you're showing it, you'll have to try to, or I think you'll have to do the perspective correctly, because you're a professional and you should do that. It's kind of off a little bit. Since it's only for ourselves, we don't have to be particular. So one of the processes I do is like I don't like line drawings as much. I do think I like my styles more when I just paint without line drawings. But if you're trying to get into the design field and working for a company, you'll have to have both. You'll have to know how to do beautiful line arts, which I'm lacking. I just don't have the hand precision to do such thing. It's gonna be a lot of practice with that. All right, so that's it for today. We're gonna end the stream now. Thank you for joining me. That is our final design. You can see the before and after, and the design that started it all. Final piece. We're gonna try to make a scene with the dragon and the girl riding it. Have a clear picture of what I'm gonna do. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for joining me. Imagine Lion. Peace out.